In this enormously growing technology trends, we as humans tend to make mistakes. But to make sure that we find the corresponding errors and reduce them, it is better to take a screenshot of the test cases executed. So, hi everyone, this is Vaishnavi from Edureka, and in this module, we'll understand how to take a screenshot while testing an application. But before I begin, let's take a look at the agenda. First of all, I'll be talking about why exactly do we need to take a screenshot while testing. And then I'll move ahead and make you guys understand how easily you can take a screenshot by using the file utils method and using TestNG listeners. And finally, I'll wrap up this session by walking you through a demo. So I hope the agenda was clear to you guys. And I suggest you to subscribe to our channel for more videos on trending technologies. So let's get it started, guys. In automation, it is mandatory to take the screenshot for the purpose of verification in order to prove that your test case has covered certain functionality. Screenshots also help you a lot when your test case fails, so that you can identify what went wrong in your script or in the application. These screenshots are desirable for bug analysis. That's true, guys. Selenium can automatically take screenshots during execution. We'll understand how to do that in the course of time. They also help us in understanding the flow of application and also checks if it is behaving accordingly or not. In order to do that, I'm going to use the take screenshot method in which I'm going to typecast the WebDriver instance. This actually helps while you're performing cross-browsing testing, as you may require to view the reports of the execution. And also, tracking the execution would become much easy if you're working on the headless browser. And also do note that screenshots of the tests failed can also be easily captured. So this is everything you need to know about why exactly do we need to take a screenshot while testing an application. Now, let's move ahead and learn how exactly you can take a screenshot. To capture a screenshot in Selenium, we make use of an interface take screenshot. Okay? This method basically indicates the driver that it can capture a screenshot and store it in different ways. So the syntax goes something like this. It says file, creating an object of it, take screenshot and link it to the driver, and you'll get a method which says get screenshot as. So we are going to get the screenshot as a file. So I'm going to specify the output type as file, and now we'll learn more about this get screenshot as method. In order to capture screenshot and store it in a particular location, I use a method called getScreenshotAs. So let's understand this in detail. So the syntax goes something like this. It says getScreenshotAs output type, where X is the return type of the method, and specify the target, where the target holds the destination address. It might throw an exception, so I'm going to specify the WebDriver exception in a default way. This exception is thrown if the underlying implementation does not support screenshot capturing. So this is how you take a screenshot in Selenium. Now let me walk you through a demo which will make you understand how exactly you can take a screenshot. So to do that, we require the Java libraries in our system. So I'm just going to check if the Java libraries are present or not. So I'm going to open the command prompt and type Java -version. As you can see, the Java version installed in my system is 1.8.0. So the Java libraries are present in my system. Now I require an IDE to write my test scripts. So I prefer working on the Eclipse IDE because it's user friendly, and this platform can be used to develop rich client applications, IDEs, and so on. So I'm just going to open this IDE, launch the workspace. So in this case, I've already written the code here, guys, so that you can understand how easily it works. Okay, this is the Eclipse workspace, and I've already created two projects here by the name Screens and Screenshot. So the first thing you need to do when you're working on Selenium is to download the Selenium dependencies or the Selenium jar files. As this is not a TestNG program or a Maven program, I'm going to consider adding the external jar files to this project. So I'm just going to right click on my project and go to build path, configure build path, where I've added all the Selenium jar files. I've also added TestNG for my reference. So this is the Selenium jar files, and you need to add the Selenium standalone server too. Okay, so apply and close. You will see a folder being created by the name reference libraries, which holds all the Selenium jar files. And the source field is where we'll write our code. And I've created another folder by the name screenshots, which holds the screenshot. As you can see, there is a screenshot over here. So I'm just going to clear this. I'm going to delete it. Okay. So the screenshot folder is empty for now. Now let's take a look at our source folder. Okay. Created a package, and there's a class screen. So in this case, I'm going to just create a class by the name screen and include the main function in it, which throws exception. That means all the exceptions that are caught during the program are not executed. Okay. So I'm going to set the browser driver to the Chrome driver. I prefer working on the Chrome driver, guys, because it's easy to implement. So system.set property, specify the WebDriver, and also specify the path in which it exists. So in my case, it's in the C drive. And also don't forget to mention the executable file, which is chromedriver.exe, or else Chrome driver won't open. Okay, and after this, I'm going to instantiate the WebDriver instance to new Chrome driver. You might get an error here for both WebDriver and Chrome driver. Just click on it and import the WebDriver packages. The same goes to the Chrome driver as well. And after that, I'm going to get the URL of the web page. So to do that, I'm going to consider the object of the WebDriver, that is driver.get, and specify the URL. Okay. So in my case, it's edureka.co. You can take whichever website you want, guys. And after that, I'm going to consider the method take screenshot. This method basically helps in taking a screenshot. So I'm just going to create a package of it and link the take screenshot method with the driver so that it's in an executable format. And the major thing you need to do to take a screenshot is to specify the source and the destination folder so that if you take a screenshot, it will be easy for you to navigate it through. So I'm going to consider the format of a file so that it will be easy to understand. So specify the source here and consider the object of the take screenshot, that is TS. You will get a suggestion which says take screenshot as. This method, I think you guys have understood what exactly this does. So this method helps in capturing the screenshot and stores it in a particular location. So the output type of it will be in the form of a file. Okay. And after this, I'm going to consider the class file utils, which basically helps in writing, copying the files, making the directory, including the parent directories, deleting, and so on. It provides all the necessary facilities. So after specifying the file utils, I'm going to copy the file from the source to a new file and specify the path. So in this case, I have the file name as screenshot. You can see that the folder name is screenshot, which comes under the screen. And I'm going to copy the file from the source file to the destination file. For the destination, I'm going to consider a new file and specify the path of it. That is this folder, guys. So I'm just going to right click on it, properties, and this is the location of the file. So this is one way, and the other way that you can do is dot slash the name of the folder slash the project name, and also specify the name of the project. So in my case, it is screenshot. Okay, but it's screen here. So I'm just going to change the name of the screen here, or I'm just going to make it screenshot here. And do note to add .png in the format because we want an image. Okay. So I'm just going to save it and I'm going to print this particular text. It says the screenshot is taken and I'm going to quit the driver execution. Okay, so I'm just going to save it and run the program. Navigates to Edureka page, exits the driver execution. It also prints that the screenshot is taken. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh this folder. So I'm just going to copy the source file to the destination file that I'll create a new file and name it screenshots. That is the same as this. So I'm just going to write dot slash screenshots and specify the file name. that is screenshot.png. You can write whatever you want, guys. Now I'll change it to screens. Do note that it must be in the .png format because we need an image. And after this, I'm going to print this particular text. The screenshot is taken. And once this is done, I'm going to quit the driver execution. So let's save this and run it. It first navigates to edureka.co, clicks the screenshot and exits the navigation. And it prints the screenshot is taken. Okay, so let's refresh this folder. Okay, you can see that the screenshot is taken with the name screens. So this is how you take a screenshot in Selenium WebDriver. I hope you guys understood how to take a screenshot using the take screenshot method. Moving ahead, we'll understand how to take a screenshot of the test failed. Selenium WebDriver has come up with some great new functionalities that makes the testing of an application easy. This is because the WebDriver architecture allows the interaction outside the JavaScript sandbox. One of the new useful functionality is being able to take screenshots using WebDriver. You can take a screenshot at any stage of the test, but mostly it is used when a test fails. And taking screenshot helps the analysis so that we can see what went wrong during the test failure. This can be done using the TestNG annotations. So to do that, I'll first create a class and then implement the TestNG listener, that is iTestListener. So let's see how this can be done. So even in this case, I've written the project, guys, so that you can easily understand this. So first you need to create a new Maven project. I'll show you guys how exactly to do that. So new Maven project and create a new simple project. Next, and you have to provide the group ID and the artifact ID, that is the name of your project. So I already have one, so I'm going to cancel it and go to screens. Okay, so these are all the fields that are there in a Maven project. Source main Java, source main resources, source test Java, source test resources, Java libraries, Maven libraries, and also you need to include the TestNG libraries. So right click on your project, go to build path, configure build path. So you can easily get this TestNG library. So I'll show you guys how exactly you can do it. Just remove it, add library. You can find the TestNG library here. So next, finish. The TestNG libraries are added to your project. So apply and close. And I've created another folder by the name screenshots taken, which holds the screenshots. Okay, so I'm just going to empty this folder. Yeah, you can see that this folder is empty. And you need to add the Selenium dependencies to your pom.xml file. In this case, we are not adding any jar files from the build paths procedure. Okay, all we need to do is go to the Maven repository, search for Selenium, get the dependencies, paste it here. So I've pasted the Selenium libraries, JUnit, TestNG, and Commons IO. And then we use the Apache IO, which is a library of utilities to assist with developing IO functionalities. We need to create a TestNG XML file. So this file holds the class name that we want to execute. So the class name is specified here. You need not change any of it. Just specify the class name over here. So the package name comes in the beginning because the package that I've created is com.edureka. So I'm going to write my test scripts in source test Java folder. So under this com.edureka package exists. So the package and the class that I want to execute. So this is the TestNG XML file. Okay. So let's understand this in detail. So first I'll walk you through the base class. So this class basically contains all the necessary resources. Like first, I'm going to specify the WebDriver and I'm going to globally declare it by creating an object of it. And I'm going to create a function by name initialization. So this function basically helps you in initializing the browser instances. Okay. So first I'm going to set the browser driver. As I told you, I'm going to be working on Chrome driver. So I'm going to specify Chrome driver and the path in which it exists, followed by the extension Chrome driver exe. which specifies that it's an executable file. And then I'm going to instantiate the driver with the new Chrome driver and get the URL of the web page. So in this case, I'm going to consider the same page, that is edureka.co, or else I'm going to consider the blog page. Okay, save it. And after this, I'm going to create another function by name failed. And in this, I'm going to write the take screenshot method. So I'm going to consider the take screenshot method and link it with the driver and get screenshot as the output type file. I'm going to call this in the form of a file. So I'm going to call file here and specify the object of a file, that is source file. And I'm going to write this file utils function under try catch so that if there are any exceptions during execution, it'll be caught. So I'm going to write the file utils class and copy the file from the source file to the new file, that is the destination file. So in this case, right click on it, go to properties. So this is the path in which it exists. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it over here. And once this is done, we need to specify the file name, which is in the form of an image. So I'm going to name this as tests. So I'm going to name this as test cases failed.png. Okay, save it. So this basically helps to save the screenshot in this particular folder. Okay, so this is about the base class. Okay, and these are all the packages that we're going to import in this program. This output type, file utils, take screenshot, WebDriver, Chrome driver. I don't think we've used the test-ng annotation, but okay, so I'm just going to take this off, save it, and let's move ahead and go to our demo class. This method is way too simple compared to the base class. All you need to do is create a class demo which extends the base class. That is, it inherits all the properties of the base class. I'm going to specify before method, under which I'm going to call this function setup, under which I'm going to call this initialization method. So this is a function call, and every time this initialization method is called, this will link to the base class. So it will instantiate the WebDriver instance, opens the Chrome driver, and so on. So after this, I'm going to write the after method. So this method is run after each test method. And under this, I'm going to create a function called teardown. And in this, I'm going to quit the driver execution. Okay. And once this is done, I'm going to create an annotation called test. So this basically marks a class or a method as a part of the test. Okay, so this is actually a part of this test, and under which I'm going to create a function called take screenshot test. So whenever the function is executed, this method is called. So this is included in our project now. So take screenshot test, under which I'm going to assert. This alerts basically helps in taking a decision in the middle of the test run. So these alerts are most popular and frequently used methods while creating Selenium scripts. So I'm going to assert as assert equals if these two are true, it'll conclude or it'll execute that the test cases have successfully run. So we don't want the test cases to be successful. So I'm going to write the converse of it. So I'm going to specify true here. The actual value is true and the expected value will be false. So this will definitely throw an assertion error. And after this, I'm going to import the test packages, after method packages, and the before method packages. So once this is done, we'll understand how this exactly works. Okay. So before that, we'll take a look at the listeners class. Okay. This is our listeners class. So first, I'm going to create a class called listeners class, which extends the base class and also implements the iTest listener. And after you mouse over here, you will get add unimplemented methods. So these are all the unimplemented methods, guys. And I'm going to consider this particular function, that is on test failure. I'm going to print failed test and I'm going to call this function failed. This is a function call, guys. Okay. So once this is done, it'll automatically print that the test is failed. Okay. So the thing is, we use listeners in order to listen to a particular event. But in this case, the demo class has no link to this listeners class. So in order to make the demo class listen to this particular class or event, we use the listeners annotations and specify the listeners class, that is the name of the class, and dot class. Okay. So this helps in listening to the listener's class. Okay. So let's try to execute this program. Let's save it and right click on it and run as testng. It should first navigate to the blog page. It says failed test. One test run successfully. It's printed failed test. And it also specifies where it has failed. This is the method which failed. Like I said, it'll throw the assertion error. It says expected false but found true. Okay. So our test case has failed successfully. So I'm going to refresh this folder. Yeah. It says test cases failed.png. And it got the screenshot of the web page. So this is how you take a screenshot while testing an application using Selenium. I hope you guys found this useful. If you want to learn more about Selenium WebDriver, don't forget to take a look at the Edureka Selenium playlist. Thank you for watching this video. Happy learning!
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!